So, Bitcoin and crypto news for March 22nd, 2018. We did send out a trade yesterday in Ethereum, and it triggered the buy in Ethereum. We'll bring that up on the chart here. We'll look at our Ethereum Bitcoin ratio to see how that's performing. We see a little bit of sell-off here. I continue to reiterate that if the double bottoms hold, we might be okay to the long side. But if the double bottoms don't hold, we are in a recipe for hurt. And I think when we puncture the double bottoms to the downside, we're just going to get hit, and we're going to get hit, and we're going to get hit, and we're going to get hit hard. Okay, so just kind of keep that into mind, that the double bottoms are going to act as massive support. If that support fails, then what happens? You get sellers coming into the market. So let's go through here. Cryptocurrencies, obviously, we can see a little bit more added here. We're up to 1,575. We are at about 1,566 a couple of days ago. So we are adding a little bit of crypto here, around 1,575. When we look at the market cap, we have sold off a little bit. So the new range, if we do decide to sit in a range, 275 billion to the downside has been a big number that we've seen. I was looking to get long some H share at 5. I don't know. I haven't even actually looked at that today. H share at 5, maybe 520. Pivx at around 380, 390. And then also I was looking at adding some AGI at 17. I have not added to any of those positions, but I'll look at those today. So if you guys do get the trade alert service, we have, I've been talking about it for a while. We have hodlers, and then we have traders, okay? We sent out a trade yesterday for traders. This is a reward to risk setup in Ethereum at the 535 level, risking 100 to make 100. But if you're a hodler, Mr. S really focuses on hodling, and he focuses on, projects that he likes. Some of these hodls, you could be down 25, 50, 75% in a week or two. But you know what a hodler is? A hodler stands on holding on for dear life. So even if you get a signal that's down money, doesn't mean it can't eventually be profitable. Okay, and that's why we did a special webinar. I did a special webinar and talking about dollar cost averaging, which is really important in your trading. So if you're a hodler, you're probably going to want a dollar cost average. If you're a trader, we sent out a signal yesterday in Ethereum, and we'll look at that. So let's go to the market cap here and look at how we performed. And let's look at, so in the last day, we got up to 355. So, when the crypto space is at a market cap of 350, a $20 billion move is going to be a higher percentage, okay? So if we're at 355 billion on a market cap, right? 355 billion, and then we moved to 335, that's a $20 billion move, right? 20 billion is about 6%. So that's a pretty big move here. If we are at 820 billion, which is where the high was, and then we move down to about 800 billion, that means we move 20 billion as well. But that 20 billion is only going to represent about, 3%? Probably less. 20 and so it's 1/4, 2.5%. Okay, so keep in mind when the market cap is lower, we're going to have higher percentage dollar amount moves, okay? So if you're starting to put money to work down here, okay, a $20 billion move is a lot more than a $20 bill move when we're up here. Because if you have, let's say, like I have $100,000 in cryptos, okay? So if I have $100,000 in cryptos and we move 6% to the downside, that's 6,000 I'm gonna lose. Over here, it's probably, if I have 100,000 in cryptos, it's only 2.5. So just something kind of keep in mind in your trading, okay? So we go back here and we look at the market cap. So now we're at the lowest level we've been in a day, which means we're seeing more selling pressure. We still haven't punctured that 275. And that 275 could possibly be a double bottom because we saw that back, I think it was in February. So let's go to 3 months. This was 275 February, and it didn't have February 6th. Actually, it's my sister's birthday. So, my sister's birthday. So on February 6th, okay, we hit 275 billion. So this is a key structure and junction. You know, if we break it to the downside, obviously I'm going to put more money to work. But this is the important level, 275, 275, okay? You could draw an arrow here, say the cryptocurrency market cap is double bottoming at 275. It could hold there. Yes, very possibly could hold there. But if it doesn't hold there, it could be in some really serious trouble. Okay, it could be in some serious trouble. So let's go back in here and look at volume. You know, we look at volume every time that I'm on. Total volume, we have about 15.5 billion. And we can look at that versus how much of it is actually Bitcoin. But 15 billion is a pretty good amount. Yesterday, I think we were at 16 billion, so we'll kind of just watch that. Bitcoin dominance, guys, 44.4. So we got down to about 33. We've rallied now. 44% is the Bitcoin dominance. So, you know, we're starting to see Bitcoin relative to the other cryptocurrencies starting to rally. So what I want to do in here is I want to go in here and I want to go look at my portfolio. Assuming I'm down money, I haven't looked. So I'm going to go to Drive, and let me go to Targets. Crypto. Oops, that's the wrong one. Okay. So here's my portfolio, and let's just kind of go through it and see how it's doing. We'll go to movers and shakers, and then we'll look at the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. I'm probably down a couple thousand a day. Loading very slowly here. Okay, so let's just go through it and update it. And we'll go back through the list. So Vercoin 250, so let's see, I was at negative. So Vercoin actually moving up. Still loading. Maybe Google Docs is having issues. There we go. Okay, so I had started the day at negative 31,351. Okay, Vercoin's 250. Myota 128. Myota getting crushed, down 10%. Next is Golem 24. I feel like it's not updating here. Let me try to restart it here. Google Docs is really slow today. Usually Thinkorswim's the only thing that's slow. Like, look at it load. My internet's fine too. Huh. We might not be able to update it today. Look how slow it is. Alright guys, so it looks like we can't update it here. Now going. Why are you so slow? Okay. So, did it save what I put in? No, it didn't look like it. Come on, baby. Come on, baby, light my fire. It's working now. Okay, let's start over. Okay, that's saved. So 250, 126, 24. It's not updating this P&L here. So I guess we can't use this today. We could just go to them all and see what they're doing. You can see on the right it's loading here. My internet's fine. I mean, my Thinkorswim's running like a machine. So let me just get rid of... did it update now? I think it updated now. So let's keep going. Let's try to keep going. ZRX 57. Neo. 67.9. Wow, Neo down 12%. Nimic 212. Hush. Hush down to 139. XRB is Nano. 786. Nano getting crushed. Black Cat. Ooh, Black Cat popping. Up to 89. H share. I want to get H share on 520. 645. Let's go to AGI. Singulet.net, 18 cents, so 19 cents. Change it to 19. And then I think that's all. Oh, PIVX. So PIVX 389. Ooh, PIVX close to where I want to buy PIVX here. Okay. So you can see here, P&L guys, negative 34,000 minus negative 31,000. I'm down about $3,000 here in the crypto space. Am I surprised? No. Market's going down. Okay. So let me remove this here. Okay. So let's go back here and see what's moving and shaking today, and then we'll go through the list here real quick and see what's underperforming, and then we'll go back and look at some charts here. So Bitcoin EOS up 3%. I actually did a Coin Mastery series on EOS. I said I really liked EOS. One of the reasons I liked EOS was due to the fact that it's a platform and they have a good management team behind it. So as we see here, Bitcoin, as you see, Bitcoin down 5%, and then a lot of these other names are down 10, 12, things like that. So Bitcoin, as we can tell, Bitcoin dominance is moving up. IOTA down 10%. Tether doesn't really count. Icon, we had a huge pop in Icon a couple of days ago. That one is relatively strong versus Bitcoin. You can always go in here and you can click it and it'll say how it's performing versus Bitcoin, which is kind of cool. So this is actually up versus Bitcoin and up versus Ethereum. And then we just keep going down. DAX. Let's go to movers and shakers. So the biggest gainers and the biggest losers. So gainers. Noble Coin, no. Inc, no. Hollywood Coin moves a lot. I don't even know what it does. Let's see where it is on the list. It is number 525. No wonder I don't know what it does. So the top names, I don't see anything I know. On the bottom, what's selling off? Once again, I don't know any of these names, guys. So that's usually a good thing if I don't have any winners or losers in here. So let's look at the Bitcoin. I talked about it yesterday of the Bitcoin and Ethereum. So we set out a signal in Ethereum. And let's look at Ethereum versus USD real quick. So let's remove that. How do I remove this thing? I don't want that. Okay. So I talked about it, I think in the short term. We're still a little bit bearish here. So what I want to do is I want to go in here and I want to, okay. So this is Ethereum, guys, and this is on the hourly chart. And let me make sure my triple confirmation system is set up. So, okay. So each one of these dots, as we talk about, is a time frame, okay? So the first dot in the current time frame is the hourly chart. So let's first look at it on a weekly chart. So I'm just going to go through the time frames. On a weekly chart, we continue to be bullish. We haven't punctured this low here. We are way, way above the cloud, right? So we are way above the cloud here on the weekly chart. Okay, so we are way above the cloud on the weekly chart. So the weekly chart, we look strong. Okay, we actually don't even have a monthly chart. Oh, we have a monthly chart. Monthly chart we know are going to be strong too. There's not even any Ichimoku cloud on the monthly. Then we move it to the daily. Okay, when we're looking at the daily, we want to change this time frame in the bottom to daily, daily, and then weekly. Okay. Okay. So we see here on the daily chart, okay, we broke the cloud to the downside right here. That was a short in Ethereum at 838. Okay. So a short here in Ethereum at 838. Stop would have been about 1100. You would have got to 520. So nice little signal on this here as it broke the cloud to the downside. So on the daily, okay, the only hope in Mudville you have is that Ethereum holds this level right here, okay, which is $435 to the downside. That is a possible reversal bar. You know, in theory, you want it to see reverse and move a lot higher, but it didn't. So think about it here. We sent a signal out in Ethereum to buy Ethereum at 535, okay? And it was trading about 585 last night. And I said, hey, short term, we are bearish. So I actually don't want to send out a signal at 585. I would rather be looking to buy a little bit of a pullback. So we sent out a signal for Ethereum, and this is a trade versus a hodl, guys, to buy Ethereum at 535. Simple and easy. Your stop loss would have been 435. Okay, and this is what we talked about yesterday. Like I said, yesterday we were at 585. I didn't want to buy it at 585. I wanted to buy a pullback. Okay, so the trade is very simple. It's pretty easy. You buy Ethereum at 535. Your stop loss is 435. If we break 435, we're in trouble. We're going to have to back out the chart till last year to figure out how much lower it can go. And then if you wanted to, you can use one of two targets. So this was a something we sent out yesterday. Okay. So target one would have been 585. And maybe we'll get there today on this pop. You would be down about $14 on this trade. And the target two would be 635. Okay. If you're a conservative trader, what you can do is you can take target one, and once you hit it, you move your stop to break even. Okay, I repeat that. You can take target one, and if you hit it, you can move your stop to break even. When your stop triggers and hits break even, once you hit 585, you move your stop from 435 to then 535. You're guaranteed to make money. Okay? If you're a little bit more aggressive, you can just set that one-to-one reward to risk setup. So most of my trading are one-to-one reward to risk setups. Okay, and this is kind of how I look at it here. Okay, so this is a possibility of something you can do, guys, in the crypto space and in Ethereum. Buy it at 535, stop loss 435. If you're a conservative trader, you can have a target at 585. If you get filled there, okay, you can move your stop to break even. That way you cannot lose. Okay, let's look at, and then let's move it up a little bit here, and now let's look at the hourly chart. When I look at the hourly, I bring up my time frames, and this is going to be a 2 hour, a 3 hour, and then a daily. Hi, pretty girl. Okay, as we see here, this was not technically a short. Even though it broke the cloud to the downside, that is not a short. Okay, so it broke the cloud to the downside here, and that is not a short. The reason it is not a short is we don't have multiple time frame analysis lining up that says, you know, this is a short on multiple time frames. Okay, so this is Ethereum on the hourly chart. We have the hourly, we have the 2 hour, we have the 3 hour, and we have the daily. If Ethereum gets into the cloud now and produces a bear bar, it will be a short. I will repeat that. If Ethereum gets into the cloud now and produces a bear bar, it will be a short because we now finally have triple confirmation set up, okay, in Ethereum. On the hour, the 2 hour, and then the daily chart, okay? Let's look at Ethereum versus Bitcoin. I was talking about this one yesterday for a while. Okay, so Ethereum, Bitcoin. Okay, and I said at the 30% level, I liked it. So let's see how it is. I know it's getting worse. Ethereum, Bitcoin, daily chart, sorry. Okay, so look at this ratio, guys. And I talked about as a pair ratio, okay, it's getting worse. So Ethereum's about 520 and Bitcoin is, let's get a price on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is, okay, so what we would do here, and look at this ratio. Okay. So it's 85.93 divided by 526. 16 to 1, 16.3. So we talked about this ratio yesterday on basically a pair trade, which should be shorting Bitcoin and buying equal dollar amount of Ethereum. I still like this trade. I still think it works. I am not in the position. Okay. And now it's up to 16.3 to 1. 16.3 Ethereum's to 1. Okay. 16.3 to 1. Yesterday, we got it at about 15.8. So let's say you did a one lot of these. You'd be down 0.5 in Ethereum. So you'd be down about 260 bucks on this trade. So you'd be down about $260 on this trade. I still think this trade works. I still think it's good. I'm not currently in this trade. Okay. So this is Ethereum Bitcoin pair. Okay. We continue to see this ratio move lower here. I think Ethereum's oversold versus Bitcoin. I'm not saying it's oversold total, but I think it's oversold versus Bitcoin. Okay. Then we go here and let's look at the weekly chart. Okay. And let's look at Bitcoin here. And Bitcoin, like I said, is we looked at it on TradingView. Bitcoin is only down about 5%. So it's outperforming the other names. So let's go into out of here. Okay. So Bitcoin, that's not what I want. Bitcoin USD. Okay, same thing here. So let's start in the monthly chart. You know, there's some guy on TV and he's like, year over year, Bitcoin is still up, I don't know, like 300% or something like that. It is still massively outperforming the stock market since 1978. So we look at the daily chart, you know, we're still in this clear channel. I called the all-time high. This was the day that CME listed their future. They listed their futures right here. Yes, they did. So they listed their futures there. Possible low in Bitcoin is in at 5,900. Okay, this is going to be a huge level around the 5,900 level. We back it out. A new moon. I don't believe in that moon stuff, but on the weekly chart, you know, this is a possible hammer and reversal. This is where the low came in. So I think that, you know, basically Bitcoin on the weekly chart, we might have a low here at 5,900. This is the level you want to keep an eye on, guys, when you're trading Bitcoin. 5,900 looks like it possibly could be the low here in Bitcoin. Then we bracket out here a little bit. We go to the daily chart. Daily chart, we continue to be under the cloud. We actually saw a triple confirmation short in Bitcoin at 8,000. So we are actually still on the short here in Bitcoin. Actually, those are probably bad time frames. Those are bad time frames, sorry. Daily, we know the weekly is bullish, so it's not going to be a short on the daily. Okay, so it's not a short on the daily, because we know, and we showed you guys, that weekly chart is still bullish. So that weekly chart is still bullish. And then let's break it out to the hourly. So the hourly, this we're going to look for triple confirmation. And we're going to go to the 2 hour, 3 hour, and then the daily. Okay, so we still are not on a triple confirmation short because we're actually seeing buying pressure here on the 2 hour and the 3 hour. So we're actually not on a triple confirmation short here on the 2 hour and 3 hour. Okay, I like to trade Bitcoin on the 15-minute bar, and then we put the 15. We combine the 15 with the 30, the hourly, and then the 2 hour. Let's see how we look here. So no, there's nothing. I mean, we technically got a Bitcoin long on the triple confirmation right here, but if you look at the size of the cloud, there's actually no cloud. Sometimes like that girl's got no butt. There's actually no cloud. So there's no cloud here. So I wouldn't have taken that trade. So as we see here, guys, I just got to put one little thing out there. Sorry. Trying to trade options as I run the crypto room. Okay. So, you know, on the 15-minute bar, you know, I don't really think there's anything to do here. And I just want to look at one more chart because I do like NEO. Let's look at NEO USD. So NEO, we'll start in the monthly. Look at that, guys. Got up to 200. So there's websites out there. I actually don't know the name of any of them off the top of my head, but there are websites out there where you can look at the percentage down from the highs. And all the altcoins are going to be a lot worse than a lot of the bigger names. I mean, Bitcoin's gone from 20,000, now it's currently trading, call it 8,000. It's only down 60% from the highs. This is from 200 to 67, so this is down 2/3 from the high. Okay, so there's websites designated out there. So Nano on the monthly chart is still okay. Weekly chart, I think we'll start getting some buyers here at some point. Daily chart, you know, we broke the cloud to the downside at 102. You know, if Nano holds 50, I think it's okay. So, you know, the way I'd be looking to trade it, guys, you got to make sure that it can hold these lows. Okay? If it holds these lows, I think these are all okay to the downside. Okay, I mean to the upside, sorry. If they hold these lows right here, I think it's okay to the upside as a reversal. So we're in a very interesting market where we have defined support. A lot of times you don't have defined support. We have defined the support, which was the low, and every chart's gonna look basically the same from March 18th. If we hold that lows, I think it's a reward to risk setup that we could get a catapult up higher. I could easily see NEO going up to 120. You know, if you're like one of those traders that likes to get, you know, 3 to 1, 4 to 1 on your reward to risk setup, you can buy Nano here at 66. You can have a 46 stop loss, so that's 20 bucks. And you can target all the way up to about 120, which would give you about 56, which would give you about a 3 to 1 reward to risk setup. So that is it for me today, guys. Hopefully this helped. Hopefully you guys are making sense of it. We did send an Ethereum long at 535 with a $100 stop. Thanks, guys, and everybody have a great day trading.